The voices of opposition to Bill 5 continue to grow louder, as they did here in front of the Ontario Legislature today. First Nations communities saying they are being disrespected and excluded from conversations about their land. Hundreds gathered at the front steps of Queen's Park, Indigenous leaders and supporters rallying against Bill 5, the controversial legislation many here say will break treaty obligations.
It stands to impact the territorial lands of our First Nations, and this has been done without consultation.
Bill 5 would give the Ford government power to suspend provincial and local bylaws to push forward major projects in special economic zones like mining in the Ring of Fire in Northern Ontario.
We still have to get those voices of Indigenous people before the government makes any movement.
Doug Ford and his Conservatives, but they're asking for a fight, and we're going to give them one.
Warnings from Indigenous leaders that this could escalate into a large-scale grassroots movement, calling it Idle No More 2.0, in reference to blockades and protests that took place back in 2012.
What I'm understanding is there's a very small vocal group that are saying this, and wouldn't that be a disappointment?
Indigenous MPP Saul Mamakwa was ejected from the legislature Monday after accusing Ford of lying about respecting treaty rights.
Speaker, we know the Premier is telling untruths to First Nations about...
We'll ask the member to withdraw.
He's not telling the truth.
But that's the truth. The government needs to understand, you cannot trample on inherent rights. You cannot trample on First Nation rights. You cannot trample on those things and get away with it.
Outside, the messages to kill Bill 5 and stand with First Nations were loud but peaceful. The national chief, on hand to offer support, was thankful but also wants their voices to be heard. What do you make of the fact that it's reached that point?
It's disheartening to see that, and I'm hoping that things get off to a better start. And while we stand with, Canadians on the changing landscape that we have, we also can never forget our treaty rights.
The NDP did make its attempt to delay Bill 5 last week. It is going to committee tomorrow for further debate, but it is expected to pass despite the opposition. This, of course, is the final week of the legislature before the summer break. Mark McAllister, City News.